some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, doo-dah day.
Folks, if you have not subscribed to Last Man Standing, tonight would be an excellent reason why you should. Go rewatch it, don't share it, subscribe. We really don't need the word to get out that badly. At the moment, I am on my own. The end credits for Stupid O'Clock are probably still running. People are still talking. Aunt Donna has gone to bed for the night. Don't know if Dawn will be here. Don't know if Joe will be here. Don't know if anybody will be here but me. And I'm going to give it a few minutes. And if nobody shows up, I'm just going to play the end credits and go to bed. But dude, I am tired from laughing so much. It was a hilarious show. There is no way to recap all the topics that were covered and all the tacos that were covered. We're going to have to do a GoFundMe and get Dawn her own taco-oriented domain name. And Uncle Carl's already working on the slideshow, I'm willing to bet, for the opening. No, I'm going to get, she's going to beat the crap out of me. Either that or I'm going to get one hell of a kiss. We got Chris here, so I don't have to roll the end credits just yet.
No, not yet.
I really don't know if anybody else is going to show up, but that was a laugh a minute. Stupid O'Clock. Matter of fact, it was like 5 laughs a minute in some portions. I'm not even going to attempt to follow it, except in my time slot. That's about it. That's all I can do. There's no way I can top that. That's like Jerry Lee Lewis setting a piano on fire and walking off stage and saying to Chuck Berry, "Top that, Tiger." I ain't that dumb.
No, but you know what? I bet Chuck Berry did a pretty damn good
Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He did a honorable job
I'm pretty sure.
and an outstanding performance. I'm sure at that.
There are just some performers are so theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that has to follow them is just going, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah.
No matter how talented either one of them are.
Mm-hmm.
Let me decompress for a second here.
Yeah. I don't know if you. I'm sure you heard Toby Keith died.
Mm-hmm.
He finally succumbed to his battle with cancer.
Yes, it's tragic, and his fandom is distraught. I know.
He's also got a very diverse fandom.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I was one of them.
I got to see a nice tribute by Sammy Hagar on Instagram where he posted a lot of videos of them together because they would tour often in the summertime.
I bet that was impressive.
Yeah.
It would have been a great show. It would have been a great show. I'm sorry that I never got a chance to see that because I didn't know about them. And, with my fear of crowds, going to an auditorium to see a
Man,
live
my
act.
internet is acting up.
Yeah, mine too. The opening credits
the joys of
stalled out
having
2 or 3
Windstream.
times. Yeah, exactly. Windstream. Get your act together. If this was a money making concern, I bet you'll treat me better.
Yeah. What I think's hilarious is I saw an ad for them on Facebook for their 8 gig service. So hell, I'd be lucky to get a gig out of them. Sorry.
It'd be more like a 8 giggle service.
Yeah.
You pay for it and they laugh at you. We promised you this. Good luck.
Yeah.
Their idea of fiber optic is to string a fishing line between your house and their distribution center.
Yeah.
And you have to supply your own tin cans.
Oh, man. They are just so...
Yes, but they are very stuck on themselves. If they weren't the only game in town...
Yeah. That's part of it. A lot of the areas they service, they're the only option you have.
Yep. It's either that or not
Do
have any
without.
online access at all.
Yeah. Maybe Starlink.
I have been looking into that. The initial starting cost is rather prohibitive.
Yeah.
But as long as Elon doesn't crank the price up every year.
Well, I understand he's been pretty consistent with it. The startup costs are slightly exorbitant, but after that initial phase, and I've heard the service is fairly reliable.
Adam Green says he runs Starlink.
Yeah.
Let me go. Give me 3 steps to the beer fridge, and I'll be right back.
All right. Oh,
I am not even going to turn off the microphone because all I'm going to do is open the fridge and get another beer.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's a good
b-
Leonard Skinner song, by the way.
believe it or not, I only opened one beer during Stupid O'Clock.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
think the
I
I
give,
think the fact that you're finally retired now is taking some of the worry and pressure off of you.
yeah, the real pressure will disappear when I get the first pension check and when I complete jumping through all the hoops
Hmm.
for my Social Security and the insurance I'm going to have to get for the health insurance for me and Lindsay.
Yeah,
Because there's no way that I can uh, get the same kind of deal that I had with the insurance from work. I
yeah,
mean, I've already talked to people and they're going, "No, we can't sell you health insurance for $100 a week. You're not a multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporation. We can't give you that kind of package deal."
yeah.
Um,
Were
even
you
though
able to Cobra for what the transition period?
I don't have the faintest idea. I have not been able to wade through the web pages yet. It's like you click on a link and there's more hoops to jump through before you can ever find out what the estimate is.
Well, you could have, like I said, you could have done that through work because Cobra will allow you a transition period before you transfer over to another one. If
With
they
my
let you Cobra, I don't know that they would let you do that.
employer, no, I'm willing to bet that the insurance that I had Wednesday did not exist on Friday. As soon as they take my name out of the computer, I am a non-entity. Um, Even though I'd been there for damn near half a century. So
Yeah,
um, that's the thing. Corporations don't care.
yeah,
Individual people inside the corporation do care and care greatly. But corporate as an entity is a
yeah.
vast unfeeling machine.
Well, and it didn't used to be that way. You know, used to, if you stuck with a company, they were proud of you sticking with them, but that kind of went out with the 90s.
Yeah,
It started a little bit before then, but it definitely was gone by the 90s and the 2000s because you've had so many people that would change jobs at the drop of a hat. But
yeah,
my grandfather,
I never really understood that being labor rather than management,
hmm,
because I got used to people in management disappearing in 3 to 5 years
yeah,
because if they didn't get a raise or a promotion, they go someplace else.
yeah.
And I'm going, okay, well that's a good lifestyle for you.
Mhm.
Hope it works, but for me, uh,
Like having stability.
labor is one of those things where, and especially in the era when we were growing up, our parents, our grandparents, the the done thing was you get a job,
Hmm.
you work your way up as far as you can get, you stay there until it's time to retire, you collect your pension, and you go fishing.
Yeah. My grandfather, through the acquiring of his initial employer for various other entities, you know, they all inherited his years of service. So he wound up with 54 years with the same company.
hmm
That don't happen anymore.
I cannot tell you how many times somebody somebody from corporate, somebody from the local management goes,
Hmm.
"You've been here that long?" And I'm going, well, yeah, that's the way life works for us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get golden parachutes. We don't get
No.
exit strategies. We don't get the, uh, you get a job, you work.
Yep.
That's it. Um, sure, you try and better yourself in your condition as much as you possibly can. You try and work
Yeah.
your way up inside the structure of the place where you're working so that you get better and better and better jobs,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still working for the same employer.
Oh yeah.
Uh, that's that's life.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to say it's a class thing because it's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's really not. It's just
It's a mindset and it's kind of a tradition of labor.
in in our era, the done thing was find somebody that's willing to pay you what you're worth and
Mm-hmm.
stick with them till it's time for you to retire.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the tradition of 20 years and a gold watch is long gone because uh, a gold watch don't buy that many groceries.
No, and speed kind of Dennis Hopper's character kind of put a sour taste in folks' mouth about the gold watch for retirement.
Uh huh.
He used that as the detonator for the bomb or the timer for the bomb.
The gold watch that the company gave him when they told him to
Yeah,
take a hike. Yeah.
exactly.
Um, well, let's see, what week is it? All right. Next Wednesday, I will get what should be my final paycheck because,
Hmm.
payroll is always a week behind.
Yeah.
And I will get a employee bonus
Hmm.
for um, everything that we managed to accomplish last year with the safety goals and
Hmm.
quality goals and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, I got to go to, well, I shouldn't really say the name of the firm, but I've got to go to the place that handles my 401k and go,
Yeah.
all right, y'all don't get any more out of my paycheck because I don't get a paycheck anymore.
Yeah.
Let's cash it out. Uh, I looked at that and I'm gonna pay almost an entire year's worth of income before taxes for the taxes on the 401k.
Yeah.
But that'll give me and Lindsay 4 years of guaranteed expenses
Hmm.
while I go through everything else and try and get the Social Security started here in
Hmm.
a couple of months when I'm at the appropriate age for penalized
Yeah.
filing.
Yeah.
Uh, I could have been doing this stuff years ago, but I kept letting it build up, kept letting it build up, kept letting
Hmm.
it surprises me. Long as the stock market don't crash before I get my money back,
Hmm.
I'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah.
My accountant, the guy that does my income taxes, is going to
Hmm.
really be upset that I went ahead and cashed it all in um, on the 401k and had to pay so much in taxes. But
Well, I thought you could just, you quit contributing to it, and then you do disbursements where you don't have to pay all those taxes all at once.
it works that way with the pension. I'm not sure if it works that way because I've already rolled over the entire pension
Mm-hmm.
into an IRA to get the monthly disbursements.
Yeah.
In the same year, I think I've already reached the limit of how much I can roll into there.
Mm-hmm.
And if I let them keep playing the stock market with how much the 401k is built up,
Mm-hmm.
it might get smaller here because of politics.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it did.
I would at least find out. I mean, if
Well,
nothing else, you can take what you've got, put it into like bonds and stuff where it's lower risk, and still have them do the distributions, where you don't have to take a big chunk out at once.
well,
Like I said,
give,
I'd at least look into it. Don't hurt
given the
to ask.
given the current political climate and the uncertainty of what exactly is going to happen,
It's an election year. The economy's always screwed during an election year.
that's exactly my point. It doesn't matter who's nominated, who wins, who loses.
Yeah,
The
because
stock
they're
market,
nervous till they figure
the
out what the
stock
hell's
market is
going
going to
on.
wind up eating a huge chunk of what I've got in there. So I'd rather have it in a high interest savings account
Yeah,
than in the stock market where it might take me 10 years to recover
yeah.
from the foolishness that's going to happen this year.
Well, bonds are the most stable and low risk thing. If you transfer it into bonds, it's not going to be as affected as it would be with the stock market.
Well, that's a very good and valid point. Yes. Uh, I'm willing to let the pension plan keep being administered by the same people that have got my 401k right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to, you know, give me, well, I started to say a little bit every month, but no, it's good. What I choose to try to live off of every month.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Rob, how you doing?
Yeah.
No, no, no. Um, let me send you a link here just in case you got time. I mean, if you don't worry about it. But got to got to fire up Messenger. Um, this might take a minute.
Yeah.
All right, Messenger. I clicked on his name. Go ahead and give me the page. Ah, it's not like I'm trying to get in touch with Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got a whole lot of red tape with that one.
since I retired, this week, there's a whole lot of new things that I have to get used to. I'll just go ahead and let that damn thing load itself. It's not wanting to switch over to another name in Messenger. I guess it's pissed off I don't have Facebook open and be scrolling constantly.
Well, and of course, our internet service providers probably being jerks.
Don't they always? Aren't they always?
Yep. They tend to take nice leisurely excursions in the douche canoe.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of those things. When you retire, it's one of those worries you never really wanted to have, but all of a sudden it becomes very important.
Yeah, if I ever get to that point.
It is regrettable, but hey, go ahead and diversify as much as you can. Throw stuff in savings as much as you can. Find yourself a high interest savings account somewhere. Um, if I throw the entire 401k into my high interest savings account, I'll be getting about $700 a month in interest alone.
Mm,
That, if I was single, I could live off that and never
yeah.
touch the principal. Of course, all the principals I've had would never wanted to touch them anyway. Um,
Oh Lord.
what was what was that remark somebody once made about Roman Polanski, the original 5 foot pole you wouldn't want to touch anybody with? Um, oh, oh God, I am being recorded. It's not the green room. Um,
No, it is certainly not. But it is Saturday night / Sunday morning, and it is your show.
Yep. Let's see.
Mm,
I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and send a link to Thesis as well. He is probably occupied at the time, so no
yeah.
problem, no problem. It's like when Michaela showed up, and everybody goes, "Oh, send Michaela an invitation." She goes, "Oh, I'm naked and in bed." And everybody goes, "Send her an invitation now." uh, which I'm sure that tickled her ego to no end, but it's
Yeah.
worth it. I like to see her smile.
Yeah. It's nice seeing most women smile.
Oh, yes. I wouldn't stop at most.
There's been a few that they're smiling. You might be in trouble.
Oh, you've met my first wife. No, you
No,
haven't.
but I've heard plenty about her.
uh, those are stories best told over a half a bottle of Statesman when we've already had the first half. Uh, mm, I might actually have to go to the kitchen and get some more rum here. Um,
Well, you know how um an old legend tale's told, don't you? Once
in
upon a
like,
time,
yeah.
you know how a Southern tale's told. Listen up, you ain't gonna believe this shit.
Oh, hold my beer and watch this. Well, and John's got his own version. No shit, there I was. And Zach's got this one time at church camp. Uh,
Man, those panels. No shit, I was there. Some of the most outrageous and funny
oh
and
my
weird.
God. I know. And knowing who was on those panels, I'm just going, oh, why didn't you tell this in between when we were taking a break? Oh my God.
Well,
Um, some
I
of
mean,
some
some
of
of the
our
people that are
some
on
of our
there,
mutual friends have stories that they won't even tell in panels, but if you're outside the building,
yeah. Well, the thing I hate is I think I missed one that David Drake was on. I think I did get to see part of one where he spoke up a little bit, but I heard there was one where he talked a lot more.
Yeah.
I will tell you one who had one of the most interesting stories was Mike Massa.
Oh, okay.
You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
You know he was in a very special branch.
Yeah. One of those
Division.
one of
Yes.
those attached to an alphabet.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, his story was like, damn.
I'm convinced that that's one of the reasons why John Ringo is such an entertaining writer is
Mm-hmm.
because he's had such an interesting and eventful life.
Oh
And
yeah. I mean, military, marine biologist, God knows, all the other
yeah,
activities that he's done over the years.
well, I mean, it's the same with Stephanie, it's the same uh with uh Doc. I mean, seriously,
Mhm.
these people have done stuff that we have not even been able to dream of.
And even
And
though
it,
I don't think he was in the military, David Weber's got a very rich
mm,
background. And some of the other ones just, man,
oh, I
I am
know.
so fortunate that while I don't know a lot of them as well as I would like to, I do know a number of authors. Damn good authors.
We have been very blessed with that, actually. And even though I'm a very, very low tier
Mm-hmm.
author, it's like I can walk up and say hi to somebody and call them by their first name, and their books are on my bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Good Lord.
But
Uh,
then you've helped over 500 people become published authors through Aphelion.
yes, I know, and their books are on my bookshelf too.
Yeah.
When I'm lucky, they send me an autograph copy instead of their publisher send me a copy. Um, uh, I have been very privileged in that respect, having known so many people
I
that,
mean, thank God for Uncle Timmy.
oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. LibertyCon has made an enormous impact on my life. There are so many people that I would never have had the chance to meet
Yeah.
before that I have met, and now I'm on a first name basis with, and I'm I look in the mirror when I'm trimming my beard or whatever and go, no, it's not imposter syndrome. You actually know these people.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, part of the thing that helps me is I know so many people that know them. That, oh, he's friends with this person and that person. Okay, yeah.
uh-huh. Um,
And your publisher was in Superstars conference in Colorado this weekend.
I know, I know. I am
There's a
eagerly awaiting the email when he says, okay, we're ready to edit the next book.
Mhm. Well, there was a picture of him with his wife, Tom McCaffrey, and H.Y. Gregor, who's a younger lady author that I think is going to have a pretty notable career before she's all said and done.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
King.
Carrie. How you doing? Uh,
He's probably tired because he's probably been streaming.
well, yeah,
But
and
if you
that
feel
is
up to it, come in.
Yeah, Kerry's on the regular list, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he should have the invitation. That's why I said if you feel up to it, Kerry, come on in. If not,
Really?
that's cool too.
No, I look back at my life and I go, how the hell did I luck into this?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, seriously, if it weren't for one of my best friends in all the world telling me that Larry Niven and Jerry Purnell are going to be at this convention in Chattanooga, and there's still memberships available.
Back in the days where there were still memberships available.
Well, yeah, that 750 people was a hard limit, and they didn't even have it full. And I did have to stay in the overflow hotel because the main hotel was already booked up,
Mm-hmm.
which is no problem. And I walk in there, I get my badge, walk out into the courtyard in the middle of the hotel where the swimming pool is. There's Larry and Jerry in the swimming pool. And I tried desperately to think of something witty to say. And Jerry Purnell corrects my pronunciation of a word that I'd only ever read. I'd never heard anybody actually say.
Mm-hmm.
I consider that an honor,
Mm-hmm.
actually. I was
Well,
not
he
the
wanted you to
least bit
say it
embarrassed.
right.
Yeah. Oh,
And you
and
wanted to be able to say it right.
that led directly to meeting everybody else, getting my own workout. Oh, okay. Let's see. Um, that might have been the link for the other one. I'll try again, Rob. Um, um, yes, this one is the current one, and I will repeat that with thesis because obviously I sent the same damn link to both of y'all. But thesis might be retired for the night.
Possible.
Yeah, Rob, the link I just sent you should be the correct one. Um, oh, and I watched your latest YouTube broadcast today. Um, I don't remember if I commented on it. I probably should have. I like to put comments on there because it helps your engagement and stuff. Um, Rob's always got these interesting historical things about movies and whatnot. I highly recommend Atomic Snack Bar as a YouTube channel.
I
You will
sent
be entertained and you will learn stuff.
Thesis the current link just in
Okay,
case.
so you got it twice.
Maybe.
That's all right. Uh, we shall say. Um,
Yeah.
it's not like attendance is mandatory here. Okay. Rob's backstage, but his camera is not on yet, so I will wait a second unless he says, "Don't worry about the camera, just bring me on with voice only." Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, do, 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 do. Okay, voice only. We can and will do that.
Evening, fellas.
Hey.
Good evening.
Yeah, I have literally been up about 15 minutes, so I just did not feel like setting up my setup. So I was just going to just pop in with voice tonight.
That's fine. That's fine. We
Is
have
there a
done
way to
that
do like
before.
is there a way to do an icon or a picture or something so I'm not just this bar sinister through a camera?
Yeah, I think you can.
I don't know. Kiri
You
would be
can,
the expert on that because they like to use an avatar rather than turn the camera on quite a bit.
when I go
Kiri,
off camera, it uses a image that I selected. I think you have to do that before you come into the studio, but you can do it.
Yeah, I didn't see an option for that.
I think it's before you come into the studio. So if you leave the studio and you click back on it before you click enter studio, you can set that up.
I'll try it again. Give me a sec. Sorry, fellas.
That's
okay,
fine.
no problem.
I think that's how it works. We'll find out for sure.
I
in a
don't have the
minute.
faintest idea. It uses my my publicity photo, I do believe,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's grabbing it from Google or whatever. Oh heavens! Um, I do need to go down the hall shortly, not urgently at the moment, but
Yeah. But yeah, just glad he decided to
oh yeah,
pop in tonight.
it's always a fun time when he pops in.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Boy, did he miss it earlier.
Oh Lord, it would have been epic.
Oh my God.
It would have been epic. Well, it was epic anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's one of that's right up there with the Don's Taco episode.
I can't wait to buy my Dawn Faces of Dawn calendar.
Oh Lord, it was worth seeing the look on her face when y'all brought that up.
You know, Carl's going to do it.
If there's any way he can do it, he can.
It doesn't matter if he has to shell out of his own pocket. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
Just for the giggles.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
heavens!
yeah, I got half a dozen copies myself. I got it in multiple rooms just so I can. I can see him saying that too.
I can see him saying a whole lot of things. I am not going to.
Did you see that picture that Donna posted of him when he was younger, without the beard and the mustache?
Yes.
I didn't realize that was him. I got no. Damn, that was him.
Rob, you're in the room. It's just not showing the little kitty cat. So go ahead and talk and oh Lord.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't always bring it up on camera, I think, if you got the icon.
Fair enough. I guess that's better than the camera with the line through it.
Well, either way is good. I just
we have folks show up with avatars. We have folks show up voice only. My wife does not like to be on camera at any time whatsoever. So
Dan, I figured out why he was a disgraced member of Cult of Chris.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the treasurer. Evidently, he embezzled some funds.
He embezzled the funds?
Oh, a whole lot of them, too. I'll tell you, I bought at least 3.5 donuts with it, too.
Are those American donuts or Canadian donuts?
The minis are the full-sized ones.
Oh, I roll hard. I got full size.
Awesome.
So wait a second. Is there a difference between American donuts and Canadian donuts?
That's a running joke. We have our friend Zach is in Canada, and he was talking about a 3-gallon bucket, and everybody down here is familiar with a 5-gallon bucket. Yeah. So somebody pointed out, is that Canadian gallons or American gallons. So we've been ribbing him about that ever since.
Yeah, and Canadian dollars versus American dollars, and so forth and so on.
Of course, with Edsy joined the group now, we can add in Australian gallons as well.
Yeah.
Oh, the humor is really one of those things.
Oh, and you
Stupid
missed
o'clock.
it earlier.
Oh yeah, Stupid O'Clock was epic tonight. You got to watch that. The replay whenever you got time.
It got interesting to say the least.
Interesting. You got. How can I say this when I know my mother might be watching this sometime later? It was fairly suggestive.
Yeah.
All right, now I have to run down the hallway.
All
I
right.
will.
Go
I
ahead.
will be right back. Let me just turn off the microphone. I'm going to leave the camera rolling. So.
So, Rob, still with us? Hello. Okay. I guess I will try and occupy the time while no one else appears to be here. Dan has made a pit stop, and Rob is either looking at something away from the keyboard or might have had to drop out. It is now the 11th of February on the East Coast. Valentine's Day is not far off. If you have a significant other, if you haven't already made plans to get something for them, you might want to. Be it candy, flowers, or plans to take them out somewhere to eat, or whatever. And it will be here before we know it. Rob, are you still there? Gary, you still watching? You might have muted yourself, Rod. Sometimes you accidentally hit mute.
All right, there we go.
You hear me now?
Rob.
Yeah, I can hear you
sure
now.
can.
Okay, that was weird. My icon just went gray when Dan left, and
Well, I think you might have accidentally hit mute. It's easy to do, especially if you're on a laptop and you don't have a mouse in. You hit that touchpad and it automatically moves over it with you not realizing it.
Oh, I hit it and unhit it like 12 times and it wouldn't do anything. Yeah, just everything went gray when Dan left.
And it also could be the internet where you are.
I just think Dan doesn't want to share me. So he was like, oh, got it.
No, I was actually out of the room.
Yeah, he had to go down the hall. I was busy trying to.
Biological necessities. I mean, in
pit stop.
In the Niven chat, we call it, oh, be right back. Rented beer.
So Dan, I heard me a new, well, not new, but I heard a Frank Zappa song today that I'd never heard before that tied in everything with what I do because a viewer recommended it, The Cheapness.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And
I don't remember which album it's on.
I listened to a live version where he does this whole, like, I guess, summary of It Conquered the World. Yeah, quite interesting.
Rob, if you're familiar with Missing Persons, they used to be in his band.
I know the name. I don't think I know the song.
Daryl and Terry Bozzio, and Warren Cucciarello was also in it.
Yeah.
They had song Destination Unknown, and Words, and
Wait, Bozzio, was he in Ozzy's group, or am I thinking someone else?
No,
No.
he and Terry were both in Zappa's Mothers of Invention. Of
yeah,
course, people from Zappa's band frequently worked with other people as well.
do you remember Duran's song Ordinary World?
Yeah.
Well, the guitarist on that album was Warren Cucciarello, and he was also in Mothers of Invention and also in Missing Persons.
Okay.
Yeah. And his son DeWeasel did a great cover of My Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mama.
That's a great song.
And the video for DeWeasel's version is hilarious because it's got Robert Wagner as like a PI, and Mamie Van Doren's the mama that his guitar wants to kill. She was one of the original blonde bombshells from back in the day.
Yeah, Bozzio was not an Ozzy. I don't know what I was thinking.
The gal was in Hustler a lot.
What, Terry?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's not many people that can have a bikini top made with plexiglass bowls with live goldfish in them and show up on MTV.
And she was also famous for having platinum blonde hair with neon pink and neon blue streaks in them.
And am I wrong in thinking that she was the original Susie Cream Cheese off of some of the Zappa albums? 200 Motels comes to mind, and that was a movie as well as a double album. I don't believe I've ever seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Terry had amongst her, other than her figure and her hair and all that, she had some of the most expressive, soulful eyes.
And she was one of those ladies when in the middle of a lyric, she could just pitch her voice up into this ultrasonic squeak that would break glass.
Oh yeah. If you ever listen to the song Words, she gets that voice up there pretty high. It's a squeak that's almost, like Dan said, could shatter glass, but it's not quite that powerful because she backs off a little bit.
It's not annoying, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I know the Monkey song words. Don't know the Zappa one.
And see the the Missing Persons one goes, no more words.
No, it's what are words for? No more
what
words.
Are words for? Okay.
Yeah, when no one's talking, there's no use listening at all. No one's listening, there's no use talking at all.
Obviously, no one's watched my show before.
Yeah. But she starts it when she does it. Do you know me?
Oh, I can hear the voice now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the sound of Missing Persons? Like I always, for some reason,
it's kind of new wave.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A new wave group. Okay.
Yeah, they were.
They kind of got tied in with the new wave British invasion, but
they were very prominent on MTV
Yeah,
back when MTV actually played music videos.
yeah.
Before it
And
became a wrestling channel.
they also had the thing where they turned up the whites in the videos, and like I said, she had the neon color in her hair and her eyeshadow and all that, and of course she had they looked like clear. If you ever saw what legs pantyhose used to come in, it kind of looked like the top of those that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they were partially covered on the inside, and sometimes they weren't.
Like I said, there was one video where she was wearing what amounted to goldfish bowls as a bikini top.
Yeah.
And let's see, can I remember any details about the MTV videos? Apparently they went through a phase where they built their own instruments.
Mhm.
And when you get to the level of talent where you can build your own guitar and have it be as Star Wars special effect as you want, and the keyboard was rather weird too. They didn't really milk that very much, but it was one of those things, and it might have just been an urban legend and not a real fact. So I do not know, but I do know they had some very interesting looking instruments in some of those MTV videos.
That's a nice segue, Dan, because not only having to do with
Oh,
Star
it was
Wars,
Dale, because Terry was the drummer, the man.
do what now?
Dale was the female. Terry was the drummer.
So
But speaking of
Warren Cucurullo was the guitar player.
Yeah.
But speaking
And
of both Star Wars and new wave music, did you know that Terry Nunn from Berlin auditioned for Princess Leia?
I did not
was
know
one
that.
of them. They the thing is, when they were doing the casting, they cast in the auditions, they cast people for all three roles because they wanted Luke, Leia, and Han to all audition together, because they were also looking for chemistry between the three.
Yeah, there is this incredible screen test, one of those I wish it would have beens, with William Catt as Luke, Kurt Russell as Han, and Terry Nunn as Princess Leia.
That would have been awesome.
Because I like the Star Wars cast, but come on, Kurt Russell? I'll take some Kurt Russell over Harrison Ford any day of the week.
Well, I'll debate that with you, but it did free up Kurt Russell to do other things that are absolutely freaking amazing.
True, and no telling where his career would have gone had that been the case.
Yeah. Now I've known Kurt Russell back since the Disney days, and Lost in Space.
Mm-hmm. Season 1.
Oh, and it's been fascinating to see how much he has just become so many iconic characters. I mean, seriously, Snake Plissken.
Yep.
Who else? I mean, he made that his own. Somebody else could have done it, but it would have been way different.
Well, he's still my favorite, on-screen Elvis as well.
Oh yeah, he did a great job with that. Although Bruce Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bubba Hotep. Yeah, Bruce Campbell's done an excellent Elvis as well.
That's true. The best comical Elvis for sure.
Rob, there's you link you can click on a picture of her in one of her outfits.
Oh, in the private
yeah.
chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure enough. Yeah, that looks really familiar.
Yeah. It was just, well, her and help me out here, Chris.
From what?
Music videos, lady vocalist, pink hair, absolutely. Oh, not Tracy Ullman.
What, Cyndi Lauper?
Cyndi Lauper. Thank you.
Yeah, I started to say Cyndi Lauper, maybe.
Yeah. There was this fashion at the time.
Yeah.
That they both kind of,
Well, they
if
both had
not
just
created, but expanded.
They both had a little bit of punk in them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'll tell you somebody else that was coming out of that went into the pop stage when they hit it really big was the Go-Go's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
because they were kind of punk to begin with too.
Yes. There was somebody else that. Oh, Debbie Harry of
Yeah. Oh man, the lady that cut my mom's hair, I always considered her a fuller figured Debbie Harry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Impressive. Your childhood was interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually quite the Blondie fan. And I actually kind of dig their later stuff when they started, flirting with the disco and the reggae and the kind of different that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they managed to spot weld several different genres together and made it work.
She was also in the film Zappa's Universe in 1993.
Never heard of it.
Well, Frank was dabbling in everything his entire career. He once got arrested for somebody came up to him and wanted to make a movie, and he tried to turn it into a porno because it would make more money than their original idea for the movie.
Well, I know Frank best from, of course, the Monkees appearance, and then all the PMRC stuff in the 80s. Him being up there, kind of being the spokesman for the free speech stuff.
Yes, definitely. His speech before Congress is every bit as impactful as Mr. Rogers' speech before Congress defending public television.
Hey, Rob, their biggest hits for missing persons were Words, released in 81, Mental Hopscotch, released in 1982, and Destination Unknown, also in 1982.
Okay, all slightly before my time. I mean, I was around, but very small, so that's probably why I don't know those too well. I do know a cover of Mental Hopscotch from a different group, so there's that at least.
It definitely would have been something worth covering.
Well, I really started getting into MTV and things like that probably around 86, 87.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder you like Docking as well as I do.
Yep.
Oh
yeah. I mean, the
I
glam
still
metal,
remember when the guy that was teaching me how to play bass guitar, so he'd have a low end for his guitar solos. I went over to visit one day, and he goes, "Oh my God, have you seen this MTV thing that just came on?" I mean, it's like the same day that the channel started, and here I'm hearing about it from my guitar player. Well, he wasn't my guitar player. I was his bass player. Let's get the dominance in the right order there. Um, actually, there's I think it's One Night Only. One of my albums on Bandcamp. That's me and
Mhm.
Jim. Um,
That was a movie that had Lenore Zahn in it. Same
oh,
title, One Night Only. She was the one that voiced Rogue in the animated X-Men series.
oh, that was a very sexy voice.
Oh yeah, okay.
She's a cute gal too back in the day.
You know, there's that old factoid floating around. I don't remember the exact number, but in that first year of MTV, when they just didn't have a lot of music videos to
Hmm.
play yet, something like almost half or over half of the videos they played were Rod Stewart videos because he was the only one that had built up enough to. So it was
Mm,
almost the Rod Stewart channel.
The
yeah,
ones that I saw the most were Fleetwood Mac, Pat Benatar, of course the Buggles because that was the first
they had
video they
the
showed, and
first
Rod
ever.
Stewart.
Yeah. And those Rod Stewart videos are still available on YouTube with the faces. And I click on one of those every once in a while, and my wife is going, I really don't like Rod Stewart, and I'm going, well, I'll close the door then because I do. Um,
Hmm.
and then I'll be singing along with one of the romantic songs, and she'll open the door and go, I like that. I'm going, I thought you didn't like Rod Stewart. No, I like that.
Well, does she not like Tonight's the Night?
Um, that one never came up in conversation.
Well, I like watching the video because his girlfriend at the time was beautiful.
Oh, is this the one where he's in concert, he's singing a song, or introducing the next song? He goes, yeah, this one came out back in the 1970s. Hell, my wife was only one, and
Yeah. That always made me laugh. I remember seeing that for the first time.
Well,
It's like when I wrote this, my wife was one.
he had a beautiful blonde bombshell in the video, and she was wearing a nightie. If you looked close enough, you could see some outlines of stuff underneath.
ah,
And the song was great too. I mean, it was a beautiful ballad, but
thank God for modern image enhancement programs. Uh,
I was gonna say the good old days when outlines of stuff was, as good as we got.
hey, uh, there were mail order catalogs
there were circles you could see the color and design of.
Well, nowadays we have everything at our fingertips. Everything is super easy. But there was a
Mhm.
certain like rewarding quality when you had to work for something, like finding bootleg movies at a convention or having to
oh yeah,
import an
yeah.
album. It was just more rewarding, I think.
Trying to
Going,
catch a song on the radio with the damn DJ isn't talking all over it.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
Digging through the cutout bins for videos of movies that you watched on Shock Theater or something, and trying to
Guys, I'll
find
be
a
right
copy
back.
that was not crap, a good transfer. Um,
Oh, I remember
I've got a
going to many a Dragon Cons, digging through, but I don't know if they still have them, but they used to have the tables of bootlegs and just digging through all the different Japanese bootlegs and stuff with
oh
hard
yeah.
subs on it and good
There,
time.
there was one time when one of my friends had located a copy of Rocky Horror Picture Show that had an extra song and had Japanese subtitles.
Yeah, because a lot of that stuff came from Japanese Laserdisc.
Yeah. Uh, not only did I value the extra song, which I knew from the the Roxy Theater soundtrack rather than the official movie soundtrack. But the Japanese subtitles, I mean, here we go. It's a parody of monster movies from the time period. Japanese subtitles, yes, that just adds to the kitsch. I mean that's like when I went to a movie theater to see Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and there was 3 other people in the theater.
Oh man, you got to see that on the big screen. That's
Oh
killer.
yeah, it was brand new. I mean, it wasn't even like it was a midnight movie. It was brand new. I don't think it stayed there more than a week or so because, like I said, opening day there was only 4 people there.
Yeah.
Good Lord, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh, the humor in this is outrageous." Uh, I actually followed up getting copies of some of the sequels because the original was just so National Lampoon almost.
I like those sequels too, but anything with John Aston, yeah, I mean, he's one of those actors that kind of makes everything he's in a little bit better.
Yeah, really. I have not seen anything he was in that it was just not he stole the show in every scene he was in.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite characters on Night Court as well. I mean, he wasn't on it a ton, but when he was on Night Court, it was always good, always memorable.
And I always regretted that when we lived in places that only had like 3 channels of TV back before cable ever existed, it was always the Munsters and never the Addams Family.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I finally got to see all of the Addams Family, and I'm going, okay, parallel but different.
Dark, much darker. Because, you know, the Munsters were generally very nice. That was kind of the contrast. But the Addams Family, they were dark. They were.
Oh yeah. And even the all the sequels that have come along and all the remakes and everything else, it still managed to capture that basic charm of we're weird and we like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the contrast between the all the guest characters that came in to point out that yeah they're weird, but then again, is it the Addams Family that's weird or is it society?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very, very positive image of a loving family, just with proclivities.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh Lord, I was so much in love with Carolyn Jones. Don't get me wrong, Lily Munster was hot too, but Carolyn Jones just woo, something about a long, cool woman in a black dress. Good Lord.
Yeah, I recently saw the original pilot for the Munsters. I didn't know that in that original pilot there was a different Lily, and she had a much more Morticia-esque look and kind of vibe to her. But I quite liked her, and it was in color too. The original pilot was full color,
and the actual concept for Eddie was different,
mm-hmm.
and a different actor. Who played him more as a brat.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got on my Facebook friends. I've actually got the actor from the series in there. He does a lot of car shows now with the
Butch
Munster
Patrick?
coach, Butch Patrick. Yes.
Yeah.
He does a lot of car shows with the Monstermobile and Dragula. Um, he
Yeah.
oh he d- he's a very very down to earth guy, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really I guess word would be grateful to Nick at Night as a kid because I just hit just in that right patch of time when Nick at Night first hit and it
Yeah.
started showing stuff like Mr. Ed and Car 54 Where Are You? F
Yeah.
Troop. So even those shows were way before my time. I grew
Uh-huh.
up with those shows because I was watching them every night on Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm old enough to have seen most of those in first run.
Hmm.
Uh, my childhood is very interesting. Um,
Mhm.
um, I actually somehow or another I tricked my parents into not watching Star Trek and watching Lost in Space instead.
Interesting.
Rob
And
or
black and white first season Lost in Space.
Hmm.
That's the very Outer Limits, Forbidden Planet vibe to it
Hmm.
appealed to me a whole lot more than when it got funnier.
Yeah.
I saw value in the second and third season, but the first season, and then I saw a recording of the original pilot, which is like the first 4 or 5 episodes, but without Dr. Smith and the robot.
Right.
All of their scenes had not been filmed because they were not part of the show at the time, and it's very very shock theater, uh, very very Forbidden Planet, uh, and the fact that I grew up watching Guy Williams' Zorro did not hurt things at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as I've said, I grew up with Lost in Space because again, just that perfect time period, and that's when I think it was USA started rerunning it, and it just really got me. I was really late to the party with Star Trek. I actually didn't see my first Star Trek series. I saw the movies, but didn't see the first like series until I was an adult. Like very late to the
Oh,
party.
I wound up watching the absolute first broadcast of the first episode of Classic Trek. And yes, I was hooked. Um, Lost in Space was a little bit earlier, but somehow or another, um, my parents had gotten hooked on Lost in Space because I really loved it. So they didn't change the channel to watch Star Trek. But there were times when we weren't at home and I didn't control the TV because I was the remote control.
yeah.
Um, and got to see Star Trek and all its beginning glory. They
Yeah.
hadn't even found their footing yet, and ah, well, lifelong fandom of both shows. Um,
I loved Battlestar Galactica because I was little when it came out.
the original, yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that one was slightly before my time, but I remember the toys were still hanging around on store shelves. So I actually have fond memories of the toys.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able to purchase the VHS copies. I'm
Hmm.
dating myself when they got released in the early 90s.
I was watching it, and they got a little bit ahead in the season, and the Cylon character Lucifer came in, and I go, "That's Dr. Smith. I know that voice."
Yep. Jonathan Harris. And he's
Oh,
another one of those that's really good at narration.
uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
him, Jeremy Irons, and John Huston. God, I love hearing them narrate stuff.
Robert Conrad.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Jeremy Irons narrated Aragon, if you ever watched Aragon.
Didn't see that one.
It was early 2000s, maybe.
Rob,
It had Robert Carlyle in it.
are you familiar with the Discworld books by Terry Pratchett?
I know the name.
Yeah. I haven't read them, but I've heard of them. I've heard
There-
this world mentioned a number of times, various
There
times.
are 3 BBC movies that are 4 hours long of 3 different books of Terry Pratchett of Discworld, and there are a couple of animated by Cosgrove Hall, the same people that did Danger Mouse and Count Duckula and things like that.
I want to say
I
I saw one of
highly
the
recommend
movies. Was there one of the movies that starred Sean Astin post
Yes,
Lord of the...
yes.
I saw that one. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. That I do believe was the very first one. And let's see, the next one was Hogfather, and the one after that was the one about the post office versus the clacks, the optical telegraph, semaphore telegraph. I can't remember the name of that one. I should. Too many years, too many brain cells. Probably need more liquor. And then the animated ones, there's Weird Sisters and Soul Music. And because they're animated, all the stops got pulled out. Those are excellent. But if you ever get a chance to see all of that, you will want to go buy the books so that you get all the background stuff.
Right.
And
yeah, it's just one of those things, so many books, so many movies, so many comics, so little time.
Yes, I know. I was lucky enough to where Pratchett's publisher was sending me books, his Discworld books to review back when I was doing book reviews.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I bought them in paperback anyway, but I'd get these free copies of hardback Discworld books, and all I had to do is go, "Hey, this is great! Go buy one." And the reason I stopped doing book reviews is because I ran out of variations on, "Hey, this is great! Go buy one."
Okay, Dan, I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second.
Okay.
Favorite 3 Star Trek captains?
Kirk, Picard, and Janeway.
Okay, interesting.
Now that you limited me to 3, but all of them I really liked.
Yeah, I got to go Kirk, Archer, Picard.
I was a big Quantum Leap fan, and have you ever seen the pilot for Infiltrator? Because he did it. Oh God, that was you know how Buckaroo Banzai is basically Doc Savage for the 90s? Infiltrator was Incredible Hulk for the 90s.
And it was Scott Bakula?
Yeah.
Well,
Scott has done so much work, and unfortunately, it seems like every series he's in gets canceled way too soon.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, I liked I know Enterprise is kind of the black sheep of the original Star Trek universe, but I think that's a great series.
Well, the only reason it's a black sheep is because of the way it ended.
Okay.
With the Troy and Riker turning it into a holodeck program. Now, if they hadn't been canceled and had to do that, it would have gone on for at least another season or two and been much, much better received in memory. Now, I had a problem with Deep Space Nine because I had there's a Writer's Guide magazine that came out where Straczynski goes, yeah, I've got this idea for a sci-fi show set on a space station, and I shopped it to Paramount, but they weren't interested. So I'm starting to do it by myself, and we're getting funding and all this other stuff. And then Deep Space Nine comes out, and you go, okay, Star Trek franchise, Paramount, everything's set on a space station. The characters are nothing similar, but you got to think the Paramount execs go, what can we steal from this Straczynski dude before he notices? That's still a bone of contention between fans today.
It's true, but look at it this way: because of that, we ended up with
both
great series.
Yeah.
Well, Deep Space Nine didn't start off that great. I had high hopes for it, and it got better as it went along. But man,
it wasn't until second season of Next Generation that I really got involved, invested with it. It was about third season of Deep Space Nine before I got invested in it.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite episodes of The Next Generation, well, excluding the ones with Leah Brahms, because I thought she was beautiful, but
you're not wrong.
Do you remember the episode that had the it was like they were on a train and they had a conductor that was played by one of the Johnsons from Blazing Saddles? Huddleston, I think's the actor's name. David Huddleston. It was like they were on an old-fashioned train, and they were gaining. It was a weird episode, but it was good. It was entertaining and kind of kept you guessing there for a little while. And
I do not remember that one, but I've got them all on my hard drive here.
And also, do you remember the episode that the little girl contacted Data and Data?
That one I remember vividly, yes.
Well, the little girl wound up being Nikki Cox from Las Vegas.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Was that
boy,
that redheaded actress?
Do what?
Was that redheaded actress?
She was kind of reddish auburn hair. She was James Caan's daughter, I believe, in the series. Of course, her claim to fame and gives hopes to all nerdy guys everywhere, as at one point in time, Bobcat Goldthwait was engaged to her when she was on Unhappily Ever After.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if Bobcat Goldthwait can be engaged to Nikki Cox, there's a little bit of hope for every guy.
Yeah, really?
There you go.
Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser. Bobcat Goldthwait's role in that was just Mm.
Who was he in Blast from the Past? I don't remember.
He was on the bus. Basically when Adam was trying to figure out how do I work this. Um,
Yeah, because it's weird because I really like that movie. That's one of those ones that I'll watch it every time I see it on TV. It never gets old.
yeah, I've worn out my video tape copy. That and I used to play the Robin Williams movie that was done from Isaac Asimov's iRobot stuff. Um, um, oh crap, what was the name? Not Millennium, not
Continuum?
no. It was like I said, it was a Robin Williams movie. He played a household robot befriending
Oh,
the little girl. Um,
was it Bicentennial Man?
Bicentennial Man. Thank you. I kept thinking Millennium, but thank you. Bicentennial Man. I would watch that one over and over again. I would alternate that with Blast from the Past and um, half a dozen other things. Um,
Well, anything by the Zucker brothers, I'll watch over and over again. Be
I'll
it
tell you,
Airplane 2, Top Secret, um, you know, Hot Shots, Hot Shots Part 2.
I bought what was supposed to be a DVD of Forbidden Planet, and it turned out to be uh, somebody had returned it and they rewrapped it and mailed it out without checking to see what was actually inside the box. It turned out to be a copy of The Money Pit.
I liked that one as a kid.
So I had to go and buy a second copy of Forbidden Planet because got to have that.
Yeah.
But my most rewatched movie of all time has to be the original Thing from Another World.
Excellent choice.
No, I just absolutely love that. The crosstalk where there's like three conversations going on at once and all the characters in the same room and you're trying to figure out who's talking about what to who. That is so true to life. That's the way people actually are. You go to a party, you don't know which conversation to get in on.
Mm.
Uh,
Another movie that if I see it on, I wind up watching it inevitably is Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my favorite of the bunch because they actually have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
I agree. It's my favorite of the bunch too.
Name of the Rose is a good one too, although that's
Yeah.
not really science fiction.
Sean Connery.
Well, yeah, but
It's kind of like almost a Cadfael, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. It's very much that. Only the names have been changed to protect the producer from losing his money.
Mhm.
But it is also from a very famous book by a very famous writer whose name I cannot recall right now. But
Gore Vidal? Gore Vidal?
No, Gore Vidal. That would be Visit to a Small Planet.
I'll tell you another one that I didn't see very often, but if I did happen to see them playing it on TV, I would inevitably get interested in was James Clavell's Shogun.
I have most of the books in that series. And I will tell you right now, if you don't read it back to back to back to back each book, you miss so many subtleties. It's like reading one of those historical things by um, oh, please don't make me go down the hall and look up the guy's name on the bookshelf.
James
Uh,
Mitchell.
Michener, yes, thank you. How did you read my mind at that distance?
Well, I was thinking how the West was won in
Yeah,
Once Upon a Time in the Old West.
These generational epics that Michener wrote. My God, if I could do that, and well, actually, I have.
And
But
and the
still,
Lou L'Amour novels that Tom Selleck was in the movie versions of.
yeah. Um, look up whoever wrote the novel for a Tom Selleck movie. You probably got a good read on your hands. I just realized that the movie had to be edited for time. It didn't have time to be 6 days of solid watching.
Yeah.
The extended version of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but I'm glad they did the extended version of that.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I wish they could have done what they did with The Hobbit. Make 3 films out of each novel.
Yeah, well, there was enough material in each novel. They could have.
I know, but the shooting schedule was already brutal as it was. If they'd have
Well,
tried to do that with
the
each one of the movies, I mean, if they try to do that with the Fellowship and the Two Towers and Return of the King, imagine 3 movies each. What 9 movies?
yeah, it would be like Star Wars, only better. And I am a Star Wars fan, so don't hate me. No, the success of the Lord of the Rings 3 movies, even before the extended versions came out, financed being able to turn The Hobbit into 3 different movies.
Yeah.
There's still material in the novels that, because of pacing, because of time restraints, even with the extended versions, yes, you could have easily turned each novel into 3 movies, if not 5.
Yeah.
Two
But
Towers probably could have been 5 movies.
yeah, there was a lot in it. It would have been nice to have
and
Tom Bombadil in it.
let's not forget the Ralph Bakshi animated Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was okay, but the Rankin Bass, Hobbit, and Return of the King were my favorites of the animated stuff.
Yes, yeah, I will
That's
not. I
because
will not
John
debate
Huston
that.
narrated those.
Which one had the little orc song? The "Where There's a Whip, There's a Way."
That was The Hobbit, I believe.
I always liked that as a kid.
Yeah.
If we may jump back for a second to Thing from Another World, because there's something I wanted to add. The effects in that one too, the practical effects. People don't really highlight how good the practical effects are in that one. But the scene where they set him on fire, and that's just an actor on fire for that long running through that room is incredible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, for its time, it must have been shocking, but practical effects is all they had. So to be able to do all the safety stuff to where this guy would survive being set on fire
for that long enough it's long.
For that long, run through the room, dive out a window. Yeah, incredible amount of talent in the special effects crew, the set safety crew, everything. There are a lot of things that have been done digitally since then that if you had the gumption and you did it with practical effects instead, it would have been, well, I can't say better, but I say much more awesome.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's interesting too with The Thing from Another World versus The Thing. It's like both those movies, based on the same source material, are both kind of marvels of practical effects.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed. And the prequel to John Carpenter's version, that was, I know it was done later and had all kinds of advancements in the technology, but if you watch the stuff in order, the story really hangs together.
Yeah, they did a good job with that, I thought. I wasn't keen on all the CG, but I thought the story was good.
Well, as a writer, I'm looking at the story more than I am anything else.
Yeah.
But I have that handicap with a lot of movies. If the story doesn't work, I don't care how pretty it is. Hell, Ice Pirates wasn't pretty, but the story was neat.
Oh, it was fun. No.
Oh yes, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, Mel Brooks should have done that one.
Well, History of the World Part 1 was one of his greatest gifts to us besides Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but you're completely right, Dan, because great writing can pretty much make up for anything. Whereas if the story's not there, the best effects in the world, aren't gonna help too much.
Well,
yeah, really. Peter Weller's RoboCop. The effects were okay. The animation on the
robot,
the police droid, yeah, I can't remember what it.
The 2000
209.
Ed 209, yeah. Those were Ray Harryhausen could have done it so much better. But the story and the humor made it so much more entertaining, especially the humor made it so much. I remember
especially
watching
the 2000 SUX.
I remember watching again and listening to the background conversations while the main characters were doing physical stuff, and in the police station there's one guy getting arrested and he goes, "I am a repeat offender. I repeat, I will offend again." I'm going, who wrote this script? This is Buckaroo Banzai in intensity material here.
Well,
what's that watermelon doing over there? I'll tell you later.
Buckaroo Banzai had a hell of a cast too.
Oh yeah, I
Jeff
absolutely
Goldblum and
adore
Clint
that
Brown.
Wasn't it that the producer stole so much damn money they could never make a sequel? There's some story behind the fact that there wasn't a Buckaroo Banzai 2.
I thought it was just because John Lithgow's character was so damn weird, freaked people out.
No, otherwise there would never have been a third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, he was a good actor. I mean, it's just
yeah,
the role was just crazy because that's the way it was written.
Yeah, it's interesting because he can play a really lovable weirdo, and then he can play a really, like you said, creepy, scary weirdo as well. He's very versatile like that in his weirdo.
Well, do you remember his little movie within the movie for the Twilight Zone movie?
Yeah.
Where he's the passenger on the plane and he's seeing this thing out on the
in the William Shatner role, yeah. I do like the fact that he not requested, he demanded that his hairdresser be given a speech coach credit
Mm-hmm.
because that's where he got that bizarre mixed up accent from. It's good.
Mm.
While he's sitting in the makeup chair, this guy's doing his hair got this bizarre Italian accent. And Lithgow just goes, I'm stealing that. And
Well,
then demanded the guy got credit.
another movie that there's a couple of movies. Gene Hackman's one of those actors that I am automatically drawn to stuff that he's in. I love The Replacements. It's a hilarious comedy, but he provides a touch of class to it. And when he's in Hoosiers, I enjoy watching Hoosiers. You know, those little movies that could.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had just a little handful of movies that maybe weren't necessarily kid-friendly movies, but just those kind of movies I would watch over and over and over again like that. Jumping Jack Flash, for example, was one.
Oh, I love that one.
I would watch it, hit rewind, watch it again. Or while I was playing with my toys or whatever, it's like Jumping Jack Flash was on a lot in the household.
Another movie that I really liked was Gung Ho with Michael Keaton in it.
That was another one that was on a lot. Still holds up too. Still a very entertaining little movie.
Yeah.
I have yet to see Keaton do something that I didn't enjoy. It doesn't matter whether he's a supporting character or a lead.
Oh, and while it wasn't the greatest movie ever, that scene was so epic in the Dream Team where that guy's in a hospital gurney bed and Peter Boyle walks by and says, "Arise, my son," and walk. He gets up and then I fall right down.
Yeah. Gee, it's great to be young and insane. Yeah. That I need to get a copy of that one. I don't know why it's not on my shelves right now, but
you ever see that little Michael Keaton movie where he starts cloning himself and he goes too far? That was a cute little movie. Yeah.
Another one I really enjoyed was
Oh, of course, Mr. Mom.
Well,
yeah.
Night Shift.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
It's got him, and that was my first shock of realizing just how Henry Winkler really was, because I was used to the Fonz.
Not this kind of nerdy guy.
And it's like, damn.
Yeah.
Not to mention that had him singing Jumping Jack Flash because he was listening to it on his little Walkman. And dun, dun, dun.
You're right. Oh yeah.
And of course, it had one of my favorite acts from the early 80s, Quarter Flash.
Yes.
Doing the soundtrack. They actually did the title song to the soundtrack.
That was very effectively done. It's weird the way a good soundtrack can improve a cheesy movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be the best movie in the world, but if you've got the right soundtrack to it and the right audio effects, you can turn that sucker around and make it into a cult classic.
Oh, I agree. I think soundtracks are very important in movies. I don't know if I would say they can break a movie, but they can certainly make a movie. That's true.
Yes.
Well, I mean, look at Top Gun. Its soundtrack was one of the best things about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. There are any number of movies that have gone the route of going, okay, we don't know how the audience is going to like the action and the characters, so let's crank it to 11 on the soundtrack. And all of a sudden, you've got a big hit on your hands. And it would have been a hit anyway, but the soundtrack just made people sit up and pay attention.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever seen Inferno by Dario Argento?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, well, it has a killer score. I mean, it is one of the best things about it. There's a scene where a guy is just basically in a crawl space. Almost nothing is really happening. He's just kind of crawling around in a crawl space type thing. But the piece of music that's playing is so intense and so just, I mean, intense is the only word I can think. It just really makes it the most exciting scene you'll ever see of a guy in a crawl space not really doing anything.
There was one that basically the plot was some guys got hired to haul dynamite through South America to somewhere, and they even had to drive a truck across one of those rope bridge things. Fucking pre-Columbian art, as they said in Romancing the Stone. But the soundtrack was by Tangerine Dream. And
3 o'clock high.
3 o'clock. I think
Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack to it.
That's
okay, yeah. But I know a lot of people that went to see Sorcerer just because Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack.
Yeah.
You guys might know the guy who did the Inferno soundtrack that I was just talking about was Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Yeah. One of the best piano players and composers ever. Him, Rick Wakeman, and is it Aaron Copland from The Police?
Stuart
Copeland. Thank you. Aaron Copland, that's a different composer entirely. That's Fanfare for the Common Man, now that I remember it correctly. Just amazing work. Okay. Babylon 5. Did you ever see the original pilot movie? Stuart Copeland did the soundtrack for it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I was very disappointed when they went to series and Stuart Copeland was not doing the soundtrack. They went with something else instead. But very, as somebody that writes music, that was very inspirational. To know that one guy could think all this stuff at one time, and then on so many different levels and so many different instruments. When you run across somebody who is a composer that can work on so many different levels with so many different instruments blending together flawlessly to create this awesome sound palette. When you're a kid and you want to write music and you hear this stuff, you go, I want to do this. Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds inspired my 10,000 Airships album. That was supposed to be an audio play, but I never could get the voice actors. So I never finished writing the script. And believe you me, it's probably a good thing I didn't finish writing the script because it was corny as all get out. Not worthy of H.G. Wells or Jeff Wayne or all the people that were doing the vocals and the orchestra. But that the premise of here's a story set to music with an orchestra and a rock band, and voice actors. One of these days, I might actually get that right, but I've already gotten the orchestra and rock band bits together. It's writing a script that people will actually pay attention to. That's the hurdle I have to. That's the hoop I got to jump through on that one. Maybe if I said it in the spaceport bar, it would have been easier. But
that would be
I
actually
was
kind of
going.
neat, though, to just have that more that outside media for that universe.
Yeah, it really is. I was going through my steampunk period at that time. Not that I've ever outgrown it. It's just, it's kind of hard to connect. There were a couple of missing stairs in that community, so it made my wife uncomfortable. So we had to step away. But that problem eliminated itself. So there's still lots of great people in the Atlanta area that are into steampunk, and we could get back into it. Now that I'm retired, we might add their convention into our schedule. I'd like to have a winter convention, a spring convention, a summer convention, and a fall convention. So I've got summer and fall covered with LibertyCon and Hallowcon. It's just winter, going to Atlanta Steampunk Expo might be in our future.
They've changed the name to it to Con Possible.
Okay. As long as Captain Bill is still in charge, everything gonna be all right.
I think he passed it along to some gal that he knows.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think her name's Gabby.
That's very familiar. I'll have to look into that. I really will have to look into that. The trouble is, because of my health, I have to stay within about a 3-hour drive of conventions now. So LibertyCon is right at the far edge. Hallowcon is well within the far edge. Atlanta has its own problems.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hate 285 with a passion. That is the Watermelon 500 needs to have stricter rules, and I think if I'm lucky, there might be something in North or South Carolina that's within our reach. I do not know. I have been invited to a lot of things like stuff down in Florida that look just absolutely awesome, but 11 hours is way beyond my capacity to drive anymore. Arthritis is, to coin a phrase, arthritis is a real pain.
Does Lindsay not drive?
Lindsay suffers from PTSD. We were rear-ended by a teenager on his cell phone back in 2007. She did not drive again until 2017.
Okay.
So she has come out of her shell well enough to be able to drive about 15 miles away from our house.
Gotcha.
But that is the end of her comfort zone where the heavy traffic starts.
Right.
Yeah.
How close are you two in reality? Like, aren't you both in Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris is what, 2.5 hours away?
Oh, that far.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. I'm about depending on how traffic is, I am 30 minutes south of Chattanooga.
Okay.
Yep. About 2.5 hours for us because to avoid Atlanta, we take back roads
Yeah.
Mhm.
to go to Chattanooga or Dalton for Hallowcon. There's nothing wrong with cruising the back roads. Can't go very fast, but there's not some idiot in a Porsche trying to cross 5 lanes of traffic in front of you to get to his off ramp, which is like every 5 minutes in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember because I grew up in a small town in Georgia. So to do anything really, Atlanta was the closest place to do anything. So we have to make a lot of weekend trips to Atlanta.
I used to go on 285 on a motorcycle in rush hour traffic. No qualms. But then the 70s ended and Atlanta got a little busier.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't.
Yeah, the funny thing is, Charlotte's the biggest town in city in North Carolina. I drove through it last year, and I was kind of disappointed because its roads are nowhere near as well developed as Atlanta's. And I'm just like, I thought this would be bigger.
I've got to say, if you go through the Raleigh Durham area on the freeway, that's even more dangerous than 285.
Hell,
There's
going
not a
through Nashville is about more dangerous than 285. I'd rather drive through Atlanta traffic than Nashville traffic.
and I grew up as my teenage years were spent driving through Knoxville. And even then, there was when they were redoing the highway for the World's Fair. And every lane you got into ended in 500 feet, and there were concrete walls on each side. It's like being on a light cycle in Tron.
Mm.
I mean, you either zigzag to the right direction or you hit the wall. And they do not allow traffic under 70 miles an hour in Knoxville. I don't care if it's posted limit's 45. They're going to be doing 70 at least. Tennessee's like that.
You mentioned Nashville real quick. There was a band I wanted to recommend to both of you, more so Chris, because I think it's really up his alley. But it's a group they're basically kids. I mean, they can't be even 20 years old yet, out of Nashville, called Lost Hearts.
Okay.
But they're just, like I said, just this group of kids doing old school, like kind of 80s style melodic hard rock. Really good. And shows a little hope for the future.
Are you familiar with Frontiers Records?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they basically saved the bands from the 80s that we loved.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff on Frontiers.
And they are really good at putting together super groups.
Is Revolution Saints on Frontiers?
What was that?
Is Revolution Saints on Frontiers as well?
Yes. That's one of the super groups they put together. Though they switched out this latest album, they switched out Aldridge for Hoekstra and Jack Blades for Jeff Pilson of Dokken and Foreigner fame. But Dean's still there playing drums and singing.
I hate to say it, but we've reached the end of the 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go and nuke some food because I have been napping on and off all day. My sleep cycle is still screwed up, but I'm either staying up all night or I'm sleeping all day or I'm up before daylight for some godforsaken reason my psychology does not understand.
You'll get
It's
used
like
to
I'm
it.
waiting on the alarm clock to go off so I can go to work, and I'm going, screw that. I ain't going back no more. But
Rob,
thank
I'll put my name you need to search under. In
Yeah,
the
I was going to
private
do that as
chat.
soon as we finish the stream.
Yeah, that's fine. I just got thinking about it. He probably would help if he saw my last name.
That works. Yeah, I was just going to dig through Dan's friends list to find it,
Yeah.
but that works too.
Oh, you'll find all kinds of interesting people in my friends list.
Yeah, same here.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it was a pleasure again. Glad I could.
Thank you for joining in.
Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate every time you grace us with your presence, and I'm looking forward to the next Atomic Snack Bar.
Go good, guys.
Good night.
Good one, fellas.
Yeah. Until next.
System was shut down. 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 System was shut down.